pushing Allen out of the end zone. Matt Millen coming out to tell Brazil that he didn't like it. Oh, this man, an inordinate number of these kinds of post-play events, even for the Raiders.
The Raiders' own style of football, which is intimidating and pressure football. They're getting some of it back today from these young upstart Houston Oilers. They don't like it. They're not enjoying it at all. You've got to be very proud if you're an Oiler fan of the way the Oilers have played. But certainly the Raiders' power and energy and strength being felt here. Marcus really didn't mind that so much. And Brazil goes over to pick him up. An unnecessary push there by Brazil, however.
So Chris Barr comes in to try to tack on the extra point that would tie the game at 7 is Marcus Allen. What a touchdown maker he has been with the Raiders. In his first 2 years scoring 26 times plus the 3 touchdown passes, and he has the first Raider score of 84. Mark Wilson, the backup quarterback, to hold. He missed it. He hit the upright, and the Oilers still lead 7-6.
Chris Barr cannot believe that he has missed his second kick here in the ball game. He cannot believe it. Look at that.
No place to hide. The extra point try hit the upright. The Oilers are still in front. Los Angeles Raiders pulled to within 7-6, but Chris Barr duck hooking that extra point into the upright, and the Oilers still up by 1. Barr's kick, beautiful kick deep to Brown, and he gets back only to the 16-yard line. And a scramble. Apparently the ball was whistled dead, and it's in Brown's grasp anyway. Timeout, 10 minutes, 11 seconds left in the third quarter. Oilers with a ball and a 7-6 lead. Now, Merlin Olsen, the problem if you're a kicker, you don't get to go out on the next play and knock somebody down. You have to just let it all soak in.
Well, not only that, but right now he's hoping that that 1-point miss isn't the difference in this game.
He's also missed on a 40-yard field goal try. Houston leads 7-6, first down at the Oilers' 16. And you can see one of the guards pulling Mike Munchak jump the gun. That'll be 5 yards against the Oilers. 10 minutes, 10 seconds left in the third quarter in Houston. 7-6 Oilers. Now to New York. And Oilers 7, Raiders 6, third quarter here in Houston. Moon after the 5-yard penalty at the 11, first and 15. Look at those cornerbacks of the Raiders right up on the line of scrimmage. Earl Campbell, not much, a yard, maybe 2. Matt Millen, 55, along with 93, Greg Townsend.
Raiders gone to a 4-man line anticipating the rush, but kept Millen in to play the run. That's one of the things that makes these Raiders so difficult to play against, is that their people are so strong and so physical, both on offense and defense. Millen, a good example, really a lineman playing in that linebacking position and capable of going head-to-head with an Earl Campbell.
Millen at 6'2" and somewhere between 250 and 270 was a defensive tackle at Penn State. Moriarty has replaced Campbell. Moon just did get that one off as he was being tackled in the end zone by Matt Millen, and for his size you can see how quick he is.
He has lost some weight. He got up very heavy last year. Watch him as we ISO on him one-on-one, and he caught an open spot in that line. He's on top of Moon. Moon is throwing that ball away, and that's what Millen got up. Millen on Moon. Now Millen is up, and he was saying, hey, he grounded the ball. You got to throw a penalty flag on him.
Millen on Moon, who was looking for Mullen.
Yeah, there we go. I knew we'd get there.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, somewhere in between those.
Now Warren Moon now at his own 12-yard line. Shotgun, third down, 14. And he drills it incomplete at the 20-yard line as Mike Davis, the strong safety, able to knock it away from Eric Mullins. So the punting team comes on, and the first two possessions of the Oilers in the second half have been disastrous as the Raiders really showing their defensive teeth.
That could have been a disaster. That was a low snap. Moon very adroitly picked it up and did get the ball off, although it was not caught. James kicking out of his end zone and is going to be forced to step into the dirt area. The pitcher's mound, I guess, is really, no, that's home plate, isn't it, Dick?
Yes, it is.
He's going to have to kick it out of the dirt.
And Pruitt, a 34-yard return, waits at midfield for the Raiders. Good kick. At the 43. 50. And finally harnessed at the 47-yard line. A 10-yard return for Greg Pruitt. It was his punt return on the last possession that set up the Raiders' only score. It's 7-6 Houston. 9 minutes left, third quarter. Welcome back to the Astrodome in Houston. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen. The Oilers scored in the second quarter on a Warren Moon to Mike Holston 10-yard touchdown. Marcus Allen on a 1-yard slash off tackle made it 7-6, but Chris Barr's extra point try hit the upright, and the Oilers maintain a 1-point lead. But here's Jim Plunkett in excellent field position in Houston territory to start this sequence. Looking for Christensen, but over his head and too short for Cliff Branch, who is the other Raider downfield.
That's certainly one of the areas in which Plunkett and Christensen will suffer jointly. They haven't been able to throw that many passes to each other. Christensen didn't believe that ball was coming to him. Actually slowed down, assuming it was being thrown over his head to Branch. I believe it was thrown to Todd.
In that huddle, number 72, Don Mospar. He was the #1 pick out of USC last year by the Raiders. Had a back injury and just didn't play much until late in the year, but he has replaced Mickey Marvin at right guard. That's the only change on offense for this Super Bowl team. Strikes him down at the 24. Cliff Branch. Oh, he just has not aged a bit. His 13th year in the league. He still is lightning quick. Always seems to be open.
Well, the equation is simple. Give the quarterback time to pass. Number 72, Don Mospar, in the middle, working one-on-one. Lockup right there, forcing the man outside, and then the pass to Branch. Now they're trying to cover him one-on-one with Willie Tullis. Look how he turned Tullis around. Got him to turn completely around. Once you've done that, the defensive back is trying to play catch-up.
Now it's Marcus Allen's turn, and a good tackle as knifing through was Jesse Baker, number 75 from Jacksonville, state of Alabama. He was a college anchor sprint relay man. On their sprint relay, this big guy ran the anchor leg.
I want to know how fast they ran this relay, Dick.
He was a 9.8 in high school.
That's impressive. I'm impressed.
So Jesse Baker able to chop down Marcus Allen after a 1-yard gain.
Dalby out of the game. Romano in at center. Apparently, Dalby may have re-injured or reactivated a groin injury that kept him out of the preseason ball games.
Plunkett looking deep, has him in open. Marcus Allen, a very tough chance, but that had touchdown written all over it. But Marcus operating down in the dirt of that corner.
You know what was interesting about that play? He literally refuses to take his eyes off of that football. As you'll get a chance to see, he's in the dirt area of the field, and it was the field that I think eventually betrayed him. Watch it. He keeps his eyes all the way. His feet go right out from underneath him. I think if that had not happened, he might well have had that football.
There's a very impressive graphic on Marcus Allen, the best in the AFC running backs catching the football. He can run it, he can catch it, and you saw today he certainly can throw it. Greg Pruitt has replaced him. It's Hawkins and Pruitt on 3rd and 9. Big play for the Raiders. There's Branch open again, and a first down at the 12-yard line. Tullis made the tackle. Well, there's that gambling defense of the Oilers. They came with everyone, and they went man-to-man on the coverage, and Branch open.
You live by the blitz, you die by the blitz. And on that particular play, let's give some credit to the experience level of Jim Plunkett. Read the blitz, knew where the open man was, and he has to react so quickly. blitzing man from the outside on top of him instantly. That's one of the defensive backs coming, safety blitz, and he had that ball out of there and to the right place on the field. I'm sure he didn't even have time to look for Branch, just knew where he would be and delivered the ball.
Branch now with 4 catches and 61 yards. The Raiders trailing by only 1. Marcus Allen driving to near the 7-yard line, carrying Greg Bingham with him, and Bo Eason, number 21, the number 2 draft pick of the Oilers out of California Davis. His brother, of course, Tony Eason, the quarterback of the New England Patriots. Today's game brought to you by Isuzu, maker of fine cars and trucks, by IBM and PC Junior. There's a lot that's new about PC Junior, and it's all good news for you. And by AC Delco, the smart parts. Second down, a long 5. Allen again. He's inside the 5 and pushing near the 3-yard line, close to a first down.
Some real power and some struggling going on down there as the Raiders try and flex the muscle of that right side of their offensive line, where Mosbar is now teamed with Henry Lawrence. Dave Dalby back into the ball game, apparently not injured. Of course, that's good news for the Raiders, although they have depth now that doesn't cause them to lose much at all.
Derek Jensen, 31, the special teams captain and extra blocker on the sidelines. It's third down. We call it a yard for a first down and 3 yards for a touchdown. Allen now 58 yards rushing, and the Raiders' only touchdown. 6 minutes and 9 seconds left.
One of the officials, I think, bumped on that last play, and they might have been making sure he is all right on this play. Yeah, there he is. You see him with his hat off. He's holding his back. Looked like he took a shot in the back. There's a lot of traffic down there. There's not much room for them either.
Gordon Wells, the umpire, and of course he's the man that's right looking at the center on offense, and he's in the thick of a lot of action.
He's a little woozy.
Timeout, 7-6 Houston. And Earl Campbell, as expected, the leading rushers for their respective teams, neither with a brilliant day, but certainly solid contributors to the offense. Allen 11 yards behind the power back of the Oilers and has the Raiders' only touchdown, and he figures to be one of the defensive keys for the Oilers as the Raiders break huddle, 3rd and 1 at the 3-yard line. 6 minutes left, third quarter. So it's 3rd and 1, not 3rd and 3. It's 3 for the touchdown. Frank Hawkins. I don't know if he made it or not. And Oilers saying a fumble, and they have the football. And here's another scramble.
And that's Marcus in the fight now. You don't want to get yourself thrown out of a ball game. He and Greg Bingham going at it.
Well, that's unusual for Marcus.
That really is unusual. Marcus rarely angered to a point, rarely loses his composure. Bingham always rather feisty at the bottom of the stack, but those two are not the two I expected to see in the battle.
Those are the two that were bloodied earlier, not necessarily in head-to-head combat, but Bingham with a cut, and so did Allen in the first half. Now they'll have to untangle two things. One, where the ball will be spotted, and two, what the penalty situation is.
Personal foul both sides, and it's going to negate. It cancels out. And that's a tough place for an official to be. Two guys going at each other. Now, if one guy just comes up and whacks another guy, you drop the flag on one man. But when both of them are fighting, pretty difficult not to give them both a penalty.
We're going to go back and watch Bingham 54 and White 32. There's Allen.
Allen swept off his feet. Bingham coming up off the ground. Now let's take a chance. Bingham gets hit by one of his own people, and I think he thought that Marcus was coming after him. May have said something to him. Oh, he got a hold of the face mask. He's lucky he didn't get called for that one.
And Bingham was seemed to be in somewhat an innocent position. He didn't know where the pushing and shoving was coming from.
Well, he was getting hit from several directions. And they do have the first down.
So things worked out well for the Raiders in that exchange, and the Jets have a 2-point lead in Indianapolis in the fourth quarter, and the other late game finds the Cincinnati Bengals taking the lead at Denver 17-13 in the fourth quarter.
Dick, that's a tough call for an official, too. You know, this is a game of inches, and that chain is 10 yards long, but those officials are expected to look into that mass of humanity, try and figure out exactly where Frank Hawkins is carrying that ball, and then mark the spot to the exact inch.
First and goal, just inside the 2-yard line. Plunkett wide open is Christensen. He can't get it. He was 7 yards in the open.
Looks like Dave Dalby is on the ground. No, Dalby's back up. The timing on this play, absolutely critical. A beautiful job of faking. They had the Oilers totally fooled on this play. Christensen faking the block, slips out, ball arched up over the top, and just off the fingertips. One more day in camp.
That's what the coaches will
One
tell
more
them.
day in camp.
You've heard that one.
I've heard that one, you bet.
That, when they show the films tomorrow, will be a second and goal. Hawkins for the touchdown. Frank Hawkins gives the Raiders their first lead of the game.
Flexing their muscles. Frank Hawkins, one of the many offensive tools. Marcus Allen, the blocker, and I'm sure everyone expecting Marcus to carry the ball. He's the blocker here, and Hawkins the man who earns the touchdown.
Now the ex-Nevada Reno running back, he rushed for over 5,000 yards as his first touchdown of the year. Barrs try for point, and he nails that after hitting the upright on his first. So 5:32 remaining in the third quarter, and the Super Bowl champions have finally scratched their way into the lead. It's 13-7 here in Houston. Dalby, the veteran center, one of only 2 in 25 years to play that position as a starter for the Raiders. The other man's in the Hall of Fame, Jim Otto, and Dalby replaced him. And Dalby, a consistent veteran of now 13 years. Barr skips it down and takes a Raider bounce. And Brown now has to go out of bounds with it at the 6-yard line. So Barr's excellent placement on the kickoffs, plus a tough defense, and that has resulted in Plunkett and the offense getting the ball in good position. The 2 Raider touchdown drives have been 28 yards and 47 yards, and the Oilers are pinched deep when we return. Campbell carrying on second down. Campbell on first down gained about 4 to the 10, and now is out about the 12-yard line and has a first down. So Earl Campbell, back-to-back rushes, gives Warren Moon and the Oiler offense a bit of breathing room. It'll be first down for the Oilers at their 12, trailing 13-7 with 4 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
Kicking game plays such a big role. You start with your back against the goal line. You can't play with the same kind of aggressiveness as when you get good field position.
Campbell now with 80 yards rushing today. And he gets the ball again. Diving out to the 22-yard line. Pick up of 5 more. Earl Campbell won the Heisman in '77. That's Marcus Allen, a Heisman Award winner, playing for the Raiders.
Just looking back at that first year that he came to play for this Oiler team, I've never seen a player have as much impact on a season as Earl Campbell did in that year, and I was never so glad about my year of retirement. I didn't have to tackle him.
Second down and 5. Campbell again, running left, running right, and that'll be close to a first down. Another 5-yard gain. That'll get him to the 90-yard mark. 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter as we switch to New York. They're measuring for a possible Houston first down. It's short by that much. Third down for the Oilers.
talking about Campbell and the kind of punishing runner he is. I'd asked Matt Millen earlier, I said, you've played against Earl a number of times. Do you have any special memories of playing against Campbell? He says, yeah, he says, last year's game. He said he didn't play in that one.
That's special. that makes it special.
That was really special.
Look at the arms on Millen.
You know, he's got a T-shirt on. I saw him in the locker room before the game. Got holes in it, and Monty, here's a championship team. I think by choice he wears that. It's one he probably got in high school.
Good luck T-shirt. 3rd and inches as Millen and the Raider defense digs in. Look at Hayes, the quarterback, up on the line of scrimmage. Campbell. Well, the old Earl Campbell, before the injuries and the wear and tear of 6 seasons in the NFL, might have broken that one loose for a touchdown. His old speed, he was in the open.
Brings memories of a conversation I had with Bum Phillips after Campbell had gone through that first bruising and battering season. I said, Coach, I think you got to teach Earl when to get out of bounds and when to go to the ground. He said, you know, Earl is delivering all those blows. I said, Bum, you're absolutely right, but he's delivering those blows with his body. And Earl Campbell certainly has delivered more pain than he's endured, but his body has taken a beating.
Moriarty gives him a breather, and Howie Long driving into Steinkuhler, number 70, and it's again Steinkuhler, the rookie right tackle.
Steinkuhler certainly has started his pro career with a bang, working against Gastineau and Tutal, and now against probably the finest young defensive end in the league, Howie Long.
What a story. This young man is from a town in Nebraska, Burr, Nebraska, population 110. They didn't have enough players to play 11-man football. He played 11-man football in high school.
Saw that little bounce there, just enough to and that's a free shot for the defensive lineman. Howie knew it. Didn't really hurt Steinkuhler, just embarrassed him on that play.
In fact, he didn't even play in Burr. They had to go over to Sterling, Nebraska to play their 8-man football. Then on to Nebraska and won the Outland and the Lombardi. Moon. Fine reception by Jamie Williams, number 87, also an ex-Cornhusker.
Got a tag for that story about Steinkuhler. When he and his wife were here for the Lombardi Awards, had a chance to spend some time with him, and his wife was talking about the fact that he came from such a small town, had a hard time getting around at Nebraska, you know, in Lincoln. He said, that's a big city. And she said, I had to do most of the driving early on. I wonder how he's doing here in Houston.
That old line that when you went into Burr, Nebraska, you entered, and the sign also said you're leaving, all on one side. 2nd down, 8. 13-7. Raiders lead. 2:11 left. 3rd quarter. Moon. Whistle had blown the play dead. Moon was out of bounds when he threw the ball.
Good quarterbacks wait till the last possible second before they unload that football. And Moon driving to the side. That's Holston, who took a shot earlier, and is probably still a little sore from that. But watch Warren Moon. He's going to get some pressure from Greg Townsend, number 93, who is a very fast lineman. Howie Long, both very quick. Right there, throwing the football, and the official said that that right foot was on the line. Let's see if he does kick up the chalk. I think it's a legitimate pass, at least from this angle. Foot was inside clearly, and there's Mike Holston. We'd indicated he'd been banged earlier. He took another shot on that play.
Holston, who caught the touchdown pass and was hit hard by Millen in the end zone, trying to recover. It's 13-7 Raiders. We're in Houston, but that game in Denver shows the Broncos now regaining the lead against the Bengals 20-17 with their starting quarterback Elway injured. Gary Kubiak to Clarence Kay, rookie tight end, 8 yards for the touchdown for Denver in the 4th quarter. 3rd down and 18 for Warren Moon out of the shotgun. Underneath the coverage, and Otis McKinney buries Steve Bryant far short of the 1st down at the 30. It'll be 4th and 10. McKinney, one of those outstanding specialists. He's that nickel back that comes in and does an outstanding job. He originally drafted in the 2nd round by the New York Giants in '78.
The difficulty of playing these black-shirted Raiders is that when you sit down and look at their film and try and figure out what you're going to do, you look for weaknesses. you scratch your head, and then you say, now what are we going to do?
John James, a little better field position as he readies to punt. Threw it back at his own 30. Short kick. Bad kick. And the Raiders have good position again at their own 39-yard line. So Los Angeles 13, Houston 7 here in the Astrodome. Let's check on earlier today. Miami won at Washington 35-17. It was San Diego 42-13 winning at Minnesota. The 49ers final second field goal 30-27 at Detroit. 28-27 the Giants edge Philadelphia. 21-17 New England won at Buffalo. Here it's 13-7 as Plunkett looking for Allen, and he's down at the 46-yard line with a 6-yard gain. Other finals earlier today: Atlanta upsetting New Orleans 36-28 at the Superdome. Kansas City upsetting the Steelers at Three Rivers 37-27. And it was the Bears romping against Tampa Bay 34-14. You're up to date on all the scores. Well, there's another. Green Bay edging St. Louis at home 24-23. Jets lead Indianapolis 16-14 in the fourth. Denver leads Cincinnati 20-17 in the fourth. And here, final minute of the third quarter, Plunkett and the Raiders in front. Christensen unable to make the one-handed catch. Coverage by Bo Eason, 21, the rookie safety man. That'll bring up 3rd down and 4.
Dick, we saw those passes, the deep passes early on from Plunkett falling incomplete. But effectively, they have forced the Raiders to respect the depth of those receivers, and they're finding room underneath now in the second half. And although Plunkett's percentage on completions is not great for the day, it's improving now. And certainly the critical thing is the score on the board and the fact that the Raiders now seem to be controlling the football game.
3rd and 4 for Plunkett at his 46. Checkoff pass by Plunkett, and Riley timed it perfectly to crush Kenny King.
And if you're Kenny King, you might write a note to your quarterback: please do not throw me that pass again.
Oh my. Final seconds tick away, and that is the end of the third quarter here at the Astrodome, where the score: the Los Angeles Raiders 13, the Houston Oilers 7. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. With Merlin Olsen, Dick Enberg, welcome to the start of the fourth quarter here at the Astrodome in Houston. You see Jim Romano, number 52. He'll be over the ball on the snap. Todd Christensen was the snapper last year, and then Dalby today, and now Romano. So they're down to the 3rd man.
Well, actually, Romano is the guy that will do the long snap, Dalby the short snap. But Dalby's been injured, and they don't want to get Christensen hurt. So he's going to be the man of the hour, playing a lot in this half.
Raymond Guy to punt. Carl Roach is back at the Houston 12. Wobbly boot. Fair catch. Roaches at the 14-yard line. A 42-yard punt. Even when Guy doesn't hit it cleanly, he gets a very respectable kick, 42 yards.
See Guy coming to the sideline, shaking his head. His average for the day, exceptional, a 57-yarder. There's Romano. Dalby has an injury, a groin injury, and you saw him earlier. It kept him on the sideline during the most of the preseason. Very little playing time. I'm sure that hurts his endurance, but he is in pain today. That means that we're going to see a change in that offensive lineup when the Raiders go back on the field.
Trailing 13-7, the Oilers start from their 15-yard line. Earl Campbell closing in on another 100-yard rushing day. The lone setback. It's a reverse, but it doesn't work because in the backfield is Sean Jones, the number 2 draft pick of the Raiders this year. 6'7" and 280 pounds from northeastern of Boston.
Jones in there for Lyle Alzado and Piquel, and on the nose tackle for Reggie Kinlaw. I wonder if perhaps we aren't seeing the result of quite a bit of humidity here.
This is going to be a reverse.
There's the reverse coming right there, and Earl Campbell simply did not have time to hand it off as Sean Jones just streaked inside and stripped Campbell to the ground.
Eric Mullins, the wide receiver, was angling back to take the handoff, but Campbell was already on the ground. 2nd and 15. Collins down the near sidelines. 3rd and 15. Suddenly, the Oilers are having great difficulty in even buying a first down. The Raiders have been living on excellent field position this entire second half.
Talked to Tom Flores about the fire in Moon's eyes right there. Moon was angry at himself, even though he was under pressure from number 75, Howie Long. He felt he should have completed that pass. At the end of that play, clapped himself on the helmet, and he said, I should have had that one.
Out of the shotgun, the Oilers are 3 for 11 on 3rd downs. Tipped, and Otis McKinney diving for a possible interception. Tim Smith, the intended receiver, and once again the Oilers don't own the football long and will have to kick it away in difficult field position.
Just kind of sense that all of the emotional energy has run out through the engine, and there's not much left. But the one thing for sure, the Houston Oilers have played extremely well in this game against the world champions, and they can hold their heads up. One of the things that Hugh Campbell was extremely worried about, he said, the one thing I don't want to see, aside from injuries, is my team embarrassed out here today.
Well, they've not been embarrassed. James kicked to Pruitt at the 45, and he gets 9 more yards. He has been a solid contributor. He has 66 yards in punt returns this afternoon, the longest being 34. 35-yard punt, 9-yard return, and the Raiders are at the Houston 35-yard line.
Yeah, when your offense can't move, your punter gets it up in the air. But the Raiders again start with great field position.
13:49 left. 65, 2 times in the Super Bowl as a champion, but not a.
It hurts him. He's got a lot of pride, but he exemplifies the Raiders' spirit. Believe me, it was not easy for the Raiders to take him out of the lineup.
Don Mospar replacing him, second-year man from USC. Marcus Allen tackled forward, and good yardage. Robert Brazil hit him from behind, and Allen is down close to the 30-yard line. A gain of 5+.
There's always been a reluctance to change rapidly by this Raider team, and the move to put Don Mospar into that lineup was not entirely well received, certainly by Al Davis and by some of the other coaches, but they feel that he is so powerful they had to get him in.
Oh, there's Marcus throwing again for Todd Christensen. That'll be interference. I think everyone in the place could have called that one, as Keith Bostock did not know where the ball was and had to gamble, took his shot at Christensen, and the yellow flags are flying.
Well, that's a flag max. He drew 3 flags for that one, Dick, and they were all in a tight little circle down there.
Actually, the coverage by Bostock wasn't that bad, but he just had lost the ball.
That's a play that's so totally out of context that it throws the timing of the defense off. An 18-yard pickup, but the key to that, of course, the versatility again of a Marcus Allen, who can hurt you in so many ways. That's one guy on the field, but when he is out there, you've got to respect his running, you've got to respect his receiving, and you must respect his ability to throw the football.
1st and goal from the 9-yard line. Hawkins and Allen behind. Whoops, that should be motion. And a flag is down. You saw Marcus Allen, and it's Hawkins' turn to say something, and Allen missed the count and took a false step forward and will cost 5.
Let's go back and look at that unusual play. Marcus taking the sweep to his left. Now, the thing that makes this unusual is the fact that it's thrown back against the grain. And look again at the tight spiral on that ball. Beautifully thrown. And you see the contact there. Bostic obviously sensing he could not stop the pass, hitting him before the ball arrived. He's a great passer. Hey, can you imagine him as a triple threat quarterback?
He would have been a good, the old single wing series. He would have been something.
The old wing back.
Second and goal. Marcus Allen. He's inside the 5 to the 4-yard line, right up the middle with Allen. 10 yards as he got the 5 that cost him on the illegal motion, and 5 more. It'll be second and goal at the 4-yard line. 77 yards now total for Marcus Allen.
I should have said tailback. I don't want all those single wing fans out there. I knew I'd said the wrong thing, but Marcus would have made a great tailback.
Indeed he would.
I don't know that we're going to have any NFL teams going to the single wing, however.
Pittsburgh Steelers were the last to use that offense. Allen again. Testing the center of the line. Trying to steal the ball are the Oilers unsuccessfully, as Allen is stopped about a yard short of a touchdown. It is 13-7. Raiders leading the Oilers. The Oilers had the advantage at the intermission 7-0 on a Warren Moon to Mike Holston pass, but the second half has been totally dominated by the Raiders.
You see the tape and the blood, that coloration on the tape. Marcus cut him on it was cut on the forehead earlier and is obviously bleeding now. The tape to try and close that off, but this is a familiar pattern. The hammering and hammering and hammering by the physically dominant not Oakland anymore, Los Angeles Raiders, and it pays off in the second half.
At the 1-yard line, 3rd and goal. Plunkett can run it in. Jim Plunkett did not have to throw. There just wasn't anyone in that area, and he quickly moves into the end zone. Of course, Plunkett early in his career and also at Stanford, an outstanding rushing quarterback.
Oh, look at that smile. Look at that smile. That's interesting. That's interesting. I think the quarterback role is the toughest short yardage play in football. And anytime the quarterback comes out there, you've got to respect his ability to pass. Look, he ran right over the defensive back. All right, Jim, hey.
So that's 3 one-yard touchdowns for the Raiders today. Allen, Hawkins, and now Plunkett. And now the snap missed by Barr in the emergency play into the end zone and intercepted by Bo Eason. So the Raiders have not been able to execute the extra point well. They've made only 1 of 3, and the score is 19-7.
This is the kind of thing you rehearse often in practice. People know what they're supposed to do. You see Mark Wilson going out for a pass there. Others will be blocking. But it just doesn't quite work as it did on paper.
There's Marcus Allen when we need him. 19-7 the score. Only 5 plays to go the short distance, 36 yards. Plunkett a 1-yard roll. No extra point, bad snap. It's 19-7 Raiders as Barr will kick it off. Roaches and Brown deep. Right down the middle it goes to Brown at the 3. No, it is not Brown. Patrick Allen gets a turn, and he's out across the 25-yard line to the 26. Patrick Allen, a 4th-round draft pick from Utah State on the return.
All right, Nagy in there. Jim Plunkett on the sideline watching that last play, looking at a new quarterback on the field, Chris Barr. He said, hey, I got enough competition at quarterback already. Oh, well, Chris wasn't able to do too well. And, of course, one of the reasons for that problem, Dave Dalby, usually the center on those plays, with the injury, not in there to snap the ball.
And Romano's snap was high, but the Raiders, Super Bowl champs, have now extended their lead. I'd like to welcome those viewers that have just joined us. The Los Angeles Raiders leading the Oilers here in Houston 19-7. We invite you to stay with us. The special edition Summer Sunday USA Iacocca, an American profile, will be seen immediately following the conclusion of football coverage over many of these stations. So please stay with us, except for those of you in the Mountain Pacific time zone stations. You'll be able to see that Summer Sunday USA special at its regular time. Well, there's somebody special on the sidelines for the Los Angeles Raiders, Marcus Allen. 19-7 the score, and the Oilers with 10:44 for such a low-scoring game, a very long game in terms of consumption of time. Willie Joyner in the ball game for the first time at running back behind Moon. Look at the Raiders, they're coming with all their guns, and there's the fumble. Who's got it? The Oilers recovered. Joyner able to fall on the loose ball.
Feeling the pressure, and Bruce Matthews, the center, has not been a center very long. I think sensing the blitz and maybe trying to get that ball back a little too quickly upset the tempo. Perhaps Moon anticipating the blitz, wanting to get out there. It's a tough job. It's tough to move from guard to center. That's not an easy thing to do.
Hugh Campbell, his team has just not been able to move the football here in the second half. We welcome those of you who have seen the New York Jets spoil the debut of the Colts in Indianapolis, 23-14 that final. Here it's 19-7, the Raiders leading the Houston Oilers. Willie Joyner. And the rookie back from Maryland is out to the 27-yard line. Bring up about 3rd down and 8. The key to this second half, the scoring drives of the Raiders. Look at the field position they've had. Only 28 yards to score to make it 7-6. 47 yards to go ahead 13-7. And finally a 36-yard drive to lead 19-7. They missed a couple of extra points, but the Oilers have been pinned deep, and the Raiders have gotten excellent field position on every possession.
Well, and the shift in the momentum after the halftime really significant on both sides of the line of scrimmage.
Out of the shotgun, Moon. Going for Holston. And a fine defensive play by Lester Hayes. He made it very difficult for Holston. And Hayes grabbing at that left ankle.
I think he's just tired. It is humid. Even though we're indoors, it is extremely humid and quite hot. Actually, we're fortunate it was much hotter yesterday. And they have selected to go head-to-head with Hayes. They've left Mike Haynes alone. They have tested Hayes. He has been able to come up with big plays, but has been, well, it's been touch and go. You know, he has often left enough room for a ball to drop in there. They haven't caught many on him during the day, however.
John James, who has become the second punter in NFL history to kick more than 1,000 times in that role. And fumble by Cook. And who has it? The Raiders able to fall on it as James Davis, 45, back there to block, was able to outfight the onrushing white shirts. And the Raiders will begin at the 25-yard line after a 48-yard punt. Well, it's football today, but Friday night, the Cubs and the Mets crash head-on. Here's a baseball preview. Our colleagues Don Criqui and Bob Trumpy had a good one out at Mile High Stadium. Denver Broncos winning 20-17. Gary Kubiak off the bench for the injured John Elway, to Clarence Kay for the winning score in the 4th quarter. Here in Houston at the Astrodome, the Los Angeles Raiders, trailing 7-0 at the half, have scored 3 touchdowns, missed a couple of extra points, and are in command 19-7.
And in the trenches, and that was the defensive line you saw there, Earl Leggett among them. Their coach, they've been working very hard controlling the trenches in the second half.
Welcome those of you who have just seen the Denver Broncos rally in the 4th quarter to beat the Cincinnati Bengals 20-17 here in the Astrodome. The Los Angeles Raiders totally shutting down the Houston offense in the second half. And meanwhile, they've mustered 3 scoring drives, all from inside the 50-yard line, and lead 19-7. Lyle Alzado, Yankton graduate, Brooklyn, New York. Once got in the ring with Muhammad Ali. Not afraid to take his licks nor deliver them.
No, he's not. And he certainly played with emotion in this game, but Earl Leggett, defensive line coach, has chosen to spend a lot of time with his younger players in this ball game. And again, attesting to the length of this game and the emotional level of this game. Both teams feeling the effects of that. The younger team, the shallower team, feeling a great deal more pressure in the way of that.
Rookie Sean Jones and the Raiders really like this young man, another of the big, young, fast defensive linemen on the Raider roster. They are very deep. Just under 9 minutes left, 19-7 the score. Plunkett dumping it off to Marcus Allen, and he's tackled at the 26-yard line. Brian Socha, 72, trying to steal the ball, but the whistle had sounded.
Number 72, Don Mospar, out there to try and convoy and do some blocking for Allen.
Brings up second down for the Raiders at the 26-yard line as they got back the 5 yards that they had just been penalized. Now that gives you an idea of what's happened in the game. Oilers outgained the Raiders 20 yards in the first half, but it's 46 yards total offense in the second half. Raider defense has been outstanding. Out of the backfield, Marcus Allen knocked out of bounds at the 42 with a first down. And Allen, who is such a major contributor to this offense, running the football, a great pass receiver. He's throwing the ball very well today. Picked up a key penalty on an interference, and a touchdown was dropped by Dokie Williams that Allen had fired perfectly into the end zone.
Just a little fly pattern to the outside. Allen swinging out, and this is where he's so dangerous. One-on-one on the linebacker, and that's John Grimsley. And Grimsley doing a marvelous job of one-handing Allen. Gets a hold of that jersey. Otherwise, he'd had a much bigger game.
5 catches for Allen today for 38 yards plus 80 yards rushing. Frank Hawkins, he has a touchdown today. He's into Oiler territory, and a first down at the 47. Meadows, a rookie from Toledo last year, a special teams player, made the tackle.
Hugh Campbell's observation before the game. The strength of an offense is directly equated to the number of offensive weapons they have. And certainly in the case of the Raiders, that's a formidable arsenal. From Plunkett to Marcus to King and Hawkins and that big offensive line and Branch and Barnwell and Todd Christensen. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And what do you choose to defend against? You do one thing, they do something else.
First down, Raiders trying to add to their 19-7 lead. Plunkett going deep. And incomplete for Dokie Walker. And Merlin, the depth. How many teams could boast? Now, these are the non-starters in the offensive line. Jim Romano, Kurt Marsh, Mickey Marvin, a starter in the Super Bowl, Shelby Jordan. I mean, you could build a pretty good club around that offensive line.
You certainly could. And you also saw a little bit of a little flash of the kind of speed that they could send off the bench as Dokie Williams goes into the game, and zip, he's open downfield. They didn't get it to him, but that's several times today that he's been several yards out in front of people and has had a chance to take one in for a touchdown.
The ex-Stanford star, Heisman winner, most valuable player in the Super Bowl 15, Jim Plunkett. They anticipate a blitz. They don't get it. Plunkett gets nailed by Jesse Baker at the 48-yard line. Baker's second sack today. Well, the Oilers fooled the Raiders as Plunkett thought the blitz was coming.
Well, that's one thing you can do out of this very aggressive defensive set is you can fake an offense. You can sucker them into believing you're coming. You get everybody up there, you get them dancing up there, and then drop them off into coverage. And they did a good job. This is the defensive scheme that they used in Atlanta. And in 1977, when Jerry Glanville went there, they became the #1 team on defense in the NFL that season. And he feels that talent here is comparable to the people he had there.
6:40 left in the game. 19-7. This is a third down call. 3rd and 15. Up on top to Williams. And he's to the 5-yard line. Dokie Williams as he beats Willie Tullis.
And you see Dokie saying, hey, grab me before I caught the ball. Indeed, if he had not caught the football, I think we'd have seen the flag on that one. You'll have a chance to see that for yourself. One-on-one on Willie Tullis. The Oilers trying to go head-to-head, much as the Raiders do on defense. And there you see 2 bumps. Should have had an official's call on that, even though he caught the pass.
Dokie Williams at UCLA. He was better known for his track exploits, a 9.4 sprinter, nearly a 26-foot long jumper, over 55 feet in the triple jump. He's used sparingly by Terry Donahue as a senior. He caught only 8 balls, 4 of those for touchdowns. And the Raiders picked him off in the 5th round. And he's like a second coming of Cliff Branch. Marcus Allen buying a yard or 2 as the Raiders just a few yards away from sewing up their initial game as defenders of that Super Bowl title.
This would indeed be the longest drive of the day for either team. You talked about the short drives for the Raiders. The Oilers' scoring drive was only 32 yards in the first half, so this would be the first legitimate long scoring drive of the afternoon.
The Oilers score after a fumble recovery at the 32 by Brazil, and then Moon threw 10 yards to Mike Holston for Houston's only score. 2nd and goal. Plunkett. The body slam, and Plunkett lucky to get up in one piece.
It It's nice to see players like Stensrud, who had trouble holding his weight down, I think really motivated by Hugh Campbell and this new staff. He's got his weight down about to 280, which is small for him, and is playing excellent football.
Yeah, when he was over 300 pounds, they nicknamed him number 67 Crosstown Bus. Get the 67.
Mongo. Well, that's got to play you remember from a game like this.
Quite an interesting guy. Collects old cash registers and says he has over 350 straight edge razors. Another, I'm just a collector. And he likes those sacks as well.
Collected a quarterback on that one. He'd like a few more.
Third and goal. Plunkett, Christensen. And it's interesting how many times today, for those who have joined us late, that must be 4 or 5 times, Christensen has had one go just off his fingertips.
Well, and I think that's something you'll see less and less of as the weeks go on. Good chance for you to watch at close range as Christensen will have that ball right there. And again, I have to wonder at the timing between the two of them, and that's what suffers most. You know, if you're a defensive lineman, an offensive lineman, you come back, you work on your own skills. But if you're a pass receiver, it's hard to work on the receiving because you don't have that quarterback there with you to throw you the football.
28-yard try by Chris Barr. If he kicks it, that will give the Raiders more than a 2-touchdown lead, and they've got it. He had missed from 40 yards. He had hit the upright with an extra point try and miss, and then a bad snap accounting for the other failure. But now the Raiders have a 15-point lead, 22-7, and time running out in Houston. The older of the Barr boys from Penn State. Younger sister, an outstanding athlete as well, a gymnast with the Nittany Lions. He has to feel better.
He's smiling now. He won't go to sleep tonight thinking it was my fault.
For a while, the missed extra point that made it 7-6 appeared to be a very big play. Back comes Patrick Allen. Good coverage by the Raiders as Allen cannot make it to the 20-yard line. Warren Moon and the Houston offense on the field, and Moon has felt those uprights at his back all day long. You see some of the Houstonians are going home for dinner early. 22-7. So let's give you folks at home a chance to play a little NFL trivia. Who holds the career scoring marks for the Oilers and the Raiders? Think about it. They're both 25 years old. This is the anniversary year. Who's the leading scorer for these two teams in their history? Can give you a quiet. No, it's not Sam Leader.
A quiet hint. 25 is an important number in the answer as well.
Oh, see, now you're almost giving it away.
Oh no, I have it.
Warren Moon like to get something going here. And oh, look who's almost invited to the party. Lester Hayes looking for a touchdown. He had read it well, and he's hands, how can you deceive me? Of course, he's a Houston native and would love very much to do something special here in the Dome today.
Lester's feeling a lot better. He's strutting a little bit. Would love to have had a little stick-em. He's had trouble hanging onto the football, and I wonder how much of confidence is in the mind. You know, Lester's an incredible athlete, but when he had the stick-em on his hands, he could catch just about everything. They took it away from him. He's had trouble hanging on to some of those passes he should have caught.
2nd down and 10 for Moon. Dressel in motion. Moon showing his strength to stay on his feet. And then he throws it incomplete. A flag down. They're going to call him for intentionally grounding the ball, or maybe a penalty against the Raiders for a late hit.
We've got a Raider on the field, Dick.
93, Greg Townsend, the defensive end from Texas Christian University, second-year man.
Official right on top of that play, feeling that Moon had deliberately grounded that ball to avoid the sack, and indeed he did. He just didn't do a good enough job of acting, and that, again, going back to something that Hugh Campbell said and asking him what's the worst thing that can happen to you today, he said we don't want the injuries. And of course, there's an injury that would certainly hurt this defense for the Raiders.
You saw Heberling, the referee, indicate with that last signal also loss of down. It's 22-7 here. Pettit race still very hot here in early September. Greg Townsend is okay. I think he was involved in that collision with Moon. Surprisingly, Moon stayed on his feet, and then rolling out and picked up the penalty for grounding the ball and loss of down. So the Oilers inside the 5-yard line, and Moon in his own end zone in the shotgun.
He's been looking at that big expanse of green all afternoon.
Second half statistics are really negative for the Oilers. He drills that one to Tim Smith, who caught 83 last year, and another penalty. Flag is down.
If that penalty is called in the end zone, well, let's give the officials a chance to.
Well, you're about to say, if it's against the Oilers in the end zone for holding, that's a safety.
That's right, and that's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah.
Safety, 2 more points for the Raiders, and the Oilers will have to kick it from the 20-yard line.
The penalty for being caught holding in this case. Quick glance at it as you look at Bruce Matthews right in the middle of your screen there, out on the outside. You're coming in from the inside now. Well, official right there, yes, looking right at Bruce Matthews, and through the that's Wells, who was dusted earlier in this ball game. He's still hanging in there.
David Carter, 58, was also in on the pinch of the Raider defender. 24-7 the score now reads. So that kind of cleans up the score, doesn't it, after those two missed extra points.
Yes. Yeah, that's a score we've seen many times, but not arrived at by the ordinary 3 touchdowns and a field goal.
The Oilers had the second fewest penalties called against them in the American Conference last year, only 84. Of course, Miami perennially the leader in that regard, but not today. 10 penalties, 120 yards, a safety. Reflects the youth of this Houston team, but there's some good things too, and Hugh Campbell will emphasize those. But the second half, it's been a shutdown operation by the Raider defense. They came in and bought the lot and the house and the barn, the whole works. Campbell has not been able to see any offense generated.
That's a turnaround. In the last 2 weeks, their opponents had come from behind in preseason to win.
James with the free kick from the 20. Clee Montgomery and Greg Pruitt are back at the 30. Clee Montgomery at the Raider 26, the 35, 45, and the younger brother of Wilbert Montgomery, who certainly has contributed to a lot of outstanding seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles, is in Oiler territory at the 49. Well, we've had a chance to think about the question. Individual scoring leader, all-time Oilers and the Raiders. Well, by George, we have the answer.
Oh, you looked it up.
And there he is, George Blanda, for both teams with the Oilers, 596 and 863 points with the Raiders. The Hall of Famer, George Blanda, quarterback and kicker. How many times did he rally, especially the Raiders, in the late going?
Oh, ball on the ground.
Hawkins picks it up. And in fact, just to carry that farther back, I think you were hitting the 25, because 25 years ago, Blanda, in the very first game played, these two teams in the opener, was Blanda quarterbacking the Oilers.
And I believe he played 25 seasons, Dick. So that number 25 playing into that in 2 different cases. You look at that jaw and that rugged face, and certainly he left a lot of pleasant memories for fans here in Houston as well as in Oakland.
Because of the length of the game, our schedule tonight will be running a little late, but we hope you'll stay tuned. Special edition, Lee Iacocca. What a story. What a marvelous executive piece of drama that has been, and what he's done for Chrysler Corporation. Tom Brokaw with that special edition, then Knight Rider and the Streets. New series, Jerry Orbach and Michael Beck as New York undercover policemen in the Streets tonight on NBC.
Dick, observing the Los Angeles Raiders in the preseason, it's very apparent that they felt that they were just going to be able to get through that preseason, and then when it came to the regular season, they'd turn it on. Well, not quite true. Took them a full half to get to the switch, but here in the second half, they have indeed turned it on.
And it was the defense that hammered that switch open and made things more pleasant for Plunkett and company. Good job, Joe McCall, who has just carried for the first time in the NFL, and now the rookie from Pitt, unable to grab his first reception. He was went to high school in Miami, nicknamed Do It All McCall for his versatility.
Raiders getting a few of those young players into the game. Again, the length of this game, the humidity here in the Astrodome taking its weight on them. There are the numbers.
Yeah, the moon set at halftime in Houston.
Now, those are the second half. I was going to say they can't be the game numbers, because Plunkett's numbers for the first half very embarrassing. But certainly in the second half, he's paid big dividends.
Now, Moon knows he's just tried to pass against the best, perhaps, secondary in football, and that defensive line made things rather unpleasant, too, in the second half. Raymond Guy aiming one deep to Roaches and into the end zone on the touchback, and it comes with 1:57 remaining in the game. So there is the 2-minute warning. 52 yards on the kick, but only 32 net. Again, this year we're going to be treated to some of the most exciting finales from NFL history. They're called fantastic finishes. Here's one. Wind it down here in the Astrodome. The Super Bowl champion Raiders in front 24-7. We want to remind you that Super Sunday special on Lee Iacocca will be joined in progress with Knight Rider at its usual time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And of course, those of you Rocky Mountain and Western time zones will see the Sunday evening programming at its usual time. Final chance for Warren Moon and the Oilers from the 20-yard line. Moon, no offense in the second half. He's able to drill that one to his tight end, Chris Dressel, the H-back. A gain of about 10, and that almost equals his total offense of this half. Well, let's go back. We said at the start, Merlin, the Raiders, Super Bowl champions, the team to beat again this year. What's your feelings now after game one?
Well, they certainly haven't been world beaters in this game, but they didn't have to be. And they started slowly, but in the second half, they've shown us the same kind of dominant forces that they were able to get through the season with last year. I haven't seen anything today to convince me that they'll be anything other than champions this year.
We have the mark of a good team to win on a so-so day. This wasn't the best of the Raiders, but they still are going to win it convincingly. Moon in trouble again, and the play whistle dead. The sack will go to young Bill Pickel, the 260-pounder out of Rutgers. And for the Oilers, young, enthusiastic. They played with emotion the first half. A new quarterback, a new coach.
Well, we made it a David and Goliath story, and David didn't win the battle today, but I think made some believers. It's not going to be a turnaround that will take place in a week. But Coach Campbell, his staff, and a group of very young players, we said it earlier, they've got 33 guys with 3 years or less in the NFL. They have impressed me with their enthusiasm, their energy, and their talent. I think they're going to be a force in the future.
Second down for Moon. Down the middle and complete. Tim Smith, who knows how to get open, and that'll be a first down out at the 43 and time called, a 20-yard gain. Today's game has been brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By McDonald's. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. And by Federal Express Zap Mail. An exact copy delivered door to door in just 2 hours. 1 minute, 12 seconds left here in Houston. Let's check on things in the late Sunday night of this Labor Day weekend. Thank you, Bob Costas. Great job on NFL 84. We're looking forward to your pre-games all season long. First down for the Oilers at their 44. And Moon, Harris by Millen. And they will not call that grounding the ball. There was a white jersey close enough. Let's run down all the scores for you. Kansas City beat Pittsburgh 37-27. New England over Buffalo 21-17. Chicago 34, Tampa 14. Denver won 2017 over Cincinnati. The Jets won at Indianapolis 23-14. Atlanta upset New Orleans 36-28. Miami big at Washington 35-17. Giants edged the Philadelphia Eagles 28-27. Green Bay nipped St. Louis 24-23. The 49ers 30, Detroit 27, and San Diego walloped Minnesota 42-13. Those are all final scores. We're down to 107 left here in the Astrodome. The Raiders leading Houston 24-7. Tim Smith, a intended receiver for Moon.
We talked about a lot of the stories of the day. Certainly this young man, Warren Moon, one of those stories. And I'm not sure that this is the kind of debut he wanted into the NFL, but he certainly has been tested today against an outstanding defense, an outstanding opponent. He's shown us flashes of the kind of quarterbacking that brought so many titles to his Edmonton Eskimo team, and I believe going to be a great quarterback here in the NFL. The same things that made him do his magic for the Eskimos, I think will allow him to pull it off down here, Dick.
Yeah, Joe Theismann made the transition, and it took a while for him, but now one of the true stars in the National Football League. Moon rifling it deep and caught his first catch today. Mike McCloskey, the tight end from Penn State, at the 5-yard line, and with ease Moon threw that one 60 yards.
Well, that's one you go put down in your scrapbook, but not necessarily the prettiest pass in the world, in the sense that you got two receivers on top of each other. Doesn't matter though, it's complete. 3 defenders, 2 receivers, completion, and the Oilers have a chance to put a few points on the board before we wrap this one into history.
46 seconds left. McCloskey with a catch, 51-yard play, and Moon was close to 60 yards away, and on the run against his throwing arm, he delivered that pass.
He is strong and fast and a smart quarterback. He's handled himself well with his teammates here. He said, I have to earn their respect. Well, he'll do that over the season, and I think it's going to be a big star in the NFL.
Yeah, there are a lot of NFL teams that are kicking themselves on this day. 334 picks were made in the '78 draft, and Moon was not one of them. Well, he took a chance.
So, well, there's a reason for that. He'd signed a contract already, Dick, and they realized that he was gone, but still probably should have taken him to have the rights.
Just to have
late
the round pick.
Yeah.
Well, some of the fans from Edmonton, as you saw, are here to cheer for their former star. A lot of you folks up in Canada watching are rooting for Warren Moon to succeed. He's a fine young man. Over the middle and a touchdown. McCloskey, the man who caught the long pass, gets the score. Yeah, that'll make it a cosmetic touchdown for Moon, and the Oilers said no 2-pointer on this one. Oh, there's a penalty flag. Only kidding, Warren. Up in the CFL, they might have gone for the 2.
You certainly have to. You climb inside of the heads of the coaching staff of these Oilers. The most important thing for them today, realistically, I don't think they expected their team to win. They wanted to win. They had the confidence that there was a chance that they could win. They certainly played that way in the first half. But realistically, they wanted to come out and not embarrass themselves, show the kind of football that will keep them on keel, making progress into the season.
Florian Kemp from the University of Pennsylvania knocks through the extra point to make it 24-14. So Moon in his first NFL start unofficially. Ross Schneiderman, our statistician, has him 12 completions in 30 attempts, 200 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Warren Moon. And we really didn't get a chance to appreciate his running talent as well. And I think when the Indianapolis Colts come in here for the game next Sunday, that they might be ready for Moon's versatility, because he's a solid runner as well. Executive producer of NFL Football on NBC is Michael Weisman. Coordinating producer Ted Nathanson. Game today was produced by Larry Cirillo and directed by Ted Nathanson. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Great coverage, starting with NFL 84 right on through this doubleheader day on NBC. Also want to thank Vernon Eschenfelder and Frank Critty, our player identification experts. Sam Liederkrantz assisting Russ Schneiderman with the statistics.
Kemp's a fine kicker, Dick. You look at this roster and you want to put all the pieces together. Kemp is not a real power kicker, in a sense, doesn't kick the ball out of sight, but certainly has been consistent. I think inside the 40, a remarkable record, and he's one of the people that they're counting on this year to maybe win a couple of key ball games for him.
Interesting story. He did not play college football with the Quakers at Penn. He was a soccer star and played 3 years with the Philadelphia Fury in the professional soccer league, the NASL. Finally giving up that career, a family priest advised him, hey, go out and kick the football. I think you can make it in the NFL, which he indeed has accomplished. Little short chip shot. And fielded by Greg Pruitt. And he's down at the 25-yard line with 39 seconds left. Mike Kennedy, just acquired from the Buffalo Bills this past week, made the tackle. So for whatever reason, this game extremely long in duration. All the other first games tucked away in the scorebook. And some interesting upsets. Well, could it be a new America's team?
We might have to put some white hats on these guys.
Never will happen.
I'm afraid not.
Silver, yes, but the black and silver, that's part of the charisma of this Raider team. And now it'll all be marked after the 30, and it's all academic now. That was the final play of the game. And the Los Angeles Raiders, the Super Bowl champions, open with a 24-14 win. The defense certainly keyed the victory for the Raiders. They just stopped Houston cold in the second half, gave the offense great field position.
And after today, little will be remembered of the first half differences and the second half differences. There's a 1 under the W column for the Raiders and a 1 under the loss column for the Houston Oilers.
The Tom Flores, Super Bowl champions, have beaten Hugh Campbell's Oilers 24-14 here at the Astrodome in Houston. Dick Enberg for Merlin Olsen. Stay with us. We'll return in just a moment. Pat Martin and Warren Moon shaking hands. They're in the NFL now. They played on the same high school team, Hamilton High in Los Angeles. The Raiders have won by 10. Immediately following these local stations, messages, special edition, Summer Sunday, USA, Iacocca, an American Profile, except those of you in the Rocky Mountain and West Coast time zones.